Hey VC, hey, it's James. Um, Back here to do another video. I wanted to get on the Coltrane Memorial project series that Alex started a couple weeks ago. Alex, great idea. Um, for those of you out there who don't know Alex's channel, I'll put a link to his channel. Alex has a great channel. I always learn things from him. He has great taste in music, all genres, and just a very soulful, philosophical guy. One of these days, I'd love to have a whiskey with Alex and talk about life. Um, Great channel and great idea. So the idea Alex presented, if you're not familiar, is to show music that was either inspired or in honor of John Coltrane that came out after he passed away in 1967. And a lot of people have jumped on this thread. It's all been great. A lot of things have exposed me to records a lot of records I wasn't familiar with, or ideas I wasn't familiar with. So Coltrane Memorial Project, I want to get on this, and today I'm going to show this one. It's called Touchin' on Train. Charles Gale, William Parker, and Rashid Ali. If you could see that there. Charles Gale, from what I understand, is really the de facto leader on this, even though they're all presented here. They're all billed equally on this record. And it's Touching on Train, and I'll get onto the music for a second, but to give you some context, how I discovered this was one day I just had an itch for a little retail therapy during COVID and wanted to do a little online shopping, and was cruising through Acoustic Sounds and just typing in different names and seeing what would come up. And I typed in William Parker, and this thing came up here. Charles Gale, William Parker, Rashid Ali, Touching on Train. And, a lot of things went through my head. First of all, if I see the name William Parker, I'm going to be interested. If I see Rashid Ali, I'm going to be really interested. And then in the trio format, I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be interesting. Charles Gale is a name that I was familiar with his name, but didn't know anything really about his output. And so I just went for it, and it turned out to be, it's an amazing record. The description they had on Acoustic Sounds went something along the line of how this was inspired by the later music of John Coltrane, specifically Interstellar Space, the duet record that Train did with Rashid Ali. So just the combination of all that information, and it was actually a really good price too. I think it was in the low 20s, maybe $22. So it was a no-brainer. I went for it. This thing is, it's avant, it's free, but still a little inside. And Charles Gale has a tone that's like Albert Eiler-ish. Very on some of these tracks, the energy, the propulsion of fire that these three play with. I mean, they're all going in different directions, yet it's all going the same direction at the same time. Amazing stuff. Straddling a line between avant and free. The songs, another cool thing too, if you can see that all the songs are I just didn't give it enough time for you to see that. It's part A, part B, part C, and part D. And sorry, it's actually A, B, D, and E. So they left out the C there. And I think, to me, the fact that those are the titles of the songs is indicative of the music. It's like, you know what? They were so creative and so organic that we don't have times for titles. Like, what's the point of even having a title for these things? In the trio format, it gives everyone room to roam around, yet still have that same, singular vision on this music. Charles Gale, again, like I said earlier, he's a name. I was familiar with his name, but I didn't know anything about him, and I just wanted to do a little research on him, and so apparently he at the time of this record, this was released. Sorry, this was released in 1991. This was recorded 1991 live in the studio, but released originally in '93. I don't think it had I'm not sure if it had a vinyl release at the time, but I think it's been put out a few times since then, and it's on the Jazz Workstat label, Jazz WERKSTATT label. I'm not familiar with anything else that's on this label. So it was recorded October 31st and November 1st, 1991, live in the studio. Charles Gale, so I did a little research on him. He was born in 1939, and he did have a name for himself. He was even teaching music at one point in Buffalo, New York. And then he moved to New York City in the early 70s, I believe, or maybe the late 60s. And according to what I read, he purposely was homeless for 20 years. There's varying different numbers out there. I've seen some saying 15 years, but for 15 or 20 years, he was purposely homeless, and he's a very spiritual guy. He's very religious, and he had reasons for remaining homeless. A lot of just very deeply personal reasons why he wanted to remain homeless, and I won't get into it here, but if you look him up, you can find interviews with him. Very, very interesting guy. So going back to the theme of this video, touching on Train, this music, is inspired by late era John Coltrane, but it's not derivative. They take that concept, that Train concept, and do their own thing with it. Very fresh. It's interesting. This thing could have come out in 1966, but it still sounds fresh, and so it makes sense that it came out or was recorded in 1991. Really great album. If you like things that are really pushing the limits in an avant free way, and if you love Coltrane, like especially later Coltrane, I think you'll dig it. And just for the hell of it, I did look it up. There are copies of this still on Acoustic Sounds. There's a few copies. It's interesting. There's a few used copies that are 40 something bucks, and a newer copy that's I think 28 bucks or something like so. Coltrane Memorial Project. Just wanted you guys to know about this one because I think you'll dig it if you like challenging music. Charles Gale, William Parker, Rashid Ali, touching on Train. Check it out. Thanks again, Alex, for the idea, and we'll see you guys another time. All right, later.